Hey guys, today we're going to show you how to take care of a collared lizard. Now these are the funny lizards that you sometimes see in our Let's Spy on Tye-Dyed videos, doing all sorts of crazy acrobatics. So here's a few fun facts about the collared lizard. These guys, their scientific name is Crotophytus collaris, and they get their name collared lizard from these stripes on the back of their neck, and it kind of go in a kind of a ring around their neck, and it makes it look like a collar. So these guys can be found in the USA, from the Great Plains and the desert Southwest, running from Arkansas and Missouri west to California and Utah, and also south to Mexico. And these guys can live in a few different environments. They come from deserts, grasslands, and prairies. So we have a little bit of variety there. Now the average size of a collared lizard is 10 to 16 inches in length. These guys are about full grown that we have here at the store. All the way, measuring all the way from tip of the nose to tip of the tail. They got long tails. And as far as their lifespan goes, they live about 5 to 10 years, so a little bit shorter than your bigger lizards like the bearded dragon, who typically live 8 to 10 years. And as you can see, they are fairly handleable. This guy is pretty chill. He wants to be on the move a little bit, but they are... Alright, so he wanted to be on the camera. Anyway, they are pretty handleable. They can get a little excited, as you saw there, but generally they're pretty good about being handled. Yeah. Now as to how big of a tank you'll want for your collared lizard, you're going to want to go with a 36 by 18 by 16 minimum, which is a 40-gallon tank. Even though they're a smaller lizard, these guys do need lots of space. As you can see, they love to run around, and with a smaller tank they usually end up hurting themselves, like bashing their noses, getting lots of nose rub. So you definitely want a bigger tank for these guys. And as for decoration, give them plenty of stuff to climb on. We made a little hide here, actually, a good place for them to hide if they don't want to bask. We made that out of rock, but you can get some other hides that we have here at the store. Just make sure they also have a good place to bask under the light, to make sure that they get all the heat and UVB they need, and have plenty of room to hang out in. So when housing multiple collared lizards together, oh, you silly one. Yeah, as far as housing multiple ones together, make sure that you have, if you have a male in there, make sure it's the only one. A male can be with multiple females, or females can be together, but don't do two males, because then they'll end up fighting, and we don't want that. Say no. Kind of like bearded dragons. Don't want two males together. And the bedding that we recommend and that we use here at the shop is our Desert Blend, our ground walnut shell bedding. And this isn't sand, it's just ground up walnut shells. Try to avoid the finer sand if you can, because finer sand is much more likely to get them impacted, not able to pass through their digestive system, so it becomes all clumped up and stuff. But we found the Desert Blend works much better as far as that goes. Now their lighting is pretty simple. You see here we have one mercury vapor light that includes both their heat and UVB, but you can also do a separate heat and a separate UVB bulb. But you want to make sure their hot spot stays at about 100 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. These guys, they do come from the desert and they like it hot, so keep it on the hot side. And their ambient temperature, just kind of around the cage, can run between 80 to 90. And as for how cold it can get at nighttime, we recommend going no lower than the mid-60s. When you turn off your light for the day to give them their day-night cycle, just make sure that it's not super, super cold in your house, in the room where they're kept in. So, and then they should be good. Now, what do these guys eat? These guys are insectivores. They eat only insects. In the wild, they sometimes eat smaller lizards and pinky mice, but we usually just feed these guys insects like crickets. You can feed them cockroaches, mealworms, waxworms, just all sorts of cool stuff. Now, stuff like waxworms and mealworms should be fed to them basically as treats. They're pretty fattening, and yeah, it's basically like candy. So for their staple though, you'll probably just want to stick to cockroaches and crickets. And of course, like with most of our other lizards, adults can be fed about every other day or so. We try to feed what they'll eat in about 10 minutes. Now with babies though, if you get a really young one, you should feed them every day because they are growing and they will need the food to be able to grow up. And of course, with their feeding, we dust their insects with multivitamins once a week and once a week only. And then any other time you can dust them with calcium. Now the daily care on these guys is pretty darn easy. All you gotta do is do spot cleaning as far as their poop goes. It's really easy to see and really easy to pick up. And then of course make sure they have fresh water every day. Empty it out because they will get it dirty. This has already been cleaned today and you can see they've already got bedding in it. So each day you'll want to dump that out. Just rinse out the bowl and scrub it down a little to get that icky stuff, the slimy algae that grows on the bottom, get that off, and give them some fresh water. And then as far as handling goes, you saw me handling one in the beginning of this video. But as far as picking them up goes, they will get scared if you just reach down your hand and grab them. Do recommend just sliding your hand under them. Let's see who's gonna let me do it right now. There you go. What you do is you slide your hand under them, and if you see that, look how comfortable he is. So I went ahead and slid my fingers under there, and he just kind of walked up on my hand himself, and he's just hanging out there. And you can see they're pretty darn handleable, and they'll just chill out on your hand no matter how hyper they may be, like this little guy down here. So yeah, they're pretty chill as long as you go underhand with them and don't act like you're grabbing them from above like a bird would. So, and you just set them down, let them walk out. Yep, pretty chill lizards in my opinion. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that video. I know these guys were pretty entertaining throughout, jumping around and acting a little crazy. But yeah, now you know how to take care of a collared lizard and what you all need for one. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.